السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعزائنا التلاميذ، مرحبا بكم، تحية طيبة. معكم أستاذ بعيري رامي، أستاذ اللغة الإنجليزية طور ثانوي من منصة dorouscom. So in this video we are going essentially to see a revision for first year students, all streams. We are going to have a look at the first unit that you have seen in this trimester, and this video is going to be like a kind of preparation for you and for your examinations. نتمنى لكم التوفيق إن شاء الله في الامتحانات المقبلة. So today we are going to start Unit 1. What is Unit 1 about? What are the most important words, expressions that I need? And what are the language points that were examined throughout Unit 1? So let's get started. First of all, we are going to start dealing with the title itself. So Unit 1 is entitled Getting Through. What does the word or what does the idiom getting through mean? Before I give answer to you, I want you to have a look at those two pictures. So what can you see here? The picture on my right and the picture on my left. If I have a look at this one, you will see a lot of people and two are shaking their hands. So what are those people essentially doing? They are contacting each other. Okay, so they are contacting each other, they are communicating with each other. If you have a look at the picture on my left side, you will see social media, you will see internet and technology essentially. So here I have got apps, I have got technology, I've got media and internet. Here I have got people communicating and contacting with each other. So as you have probably started to guess, Unit 1 is going to be about communication. Okay, so Unit 1 is going to be about communication. What is to communicate? To communicate is to correspond or contact other people using gestures or talking or speaking or using means of communication. Okay, so in this unit we are going to discuss this important topic. Let's go back to the title again. Unit 1, Getting Through. What does it getting through mean? To get through means to succeed in making contact. Please remember those words. I want you to pick up your copybooks and you pick up a pen and you start writing important words and expressions because you will be needing them. So again, to get through is to succeed in making contact with someone using the phone or other means of communication. So what does the title itself mean? It means to contact, to correspond with other people using means of communication. The example that was given to you is the phone. Again, to get through is to contact, to communicate with other people using means of communication. So this unit is going to be about means of communication and how they helped people to communicate with each other. We are going to talk about important means of communication, important technological inventions that made correspondence with other people easier. We have explained the title. So let's see the content of the unit itself. In this unit, we are going to see means of communication and how they facilitate correspondence with others. This was already stated. This is number 1. In number 2, in this unit, we are also going to see or examine types of letters and their uses in different contexts. So in Unit 1, we are going to read about types of letters and when do we use them. The example that is given to you here is job application. What do I mean by job application? You, my dear pupils, you are spending a lot of time studying now and it's good for you. After finishing education, you will start looking for a job. Okay, the person who looks for a job is called a job seeker. Okay, so the person who looks for a job is called a job seeker. Quelqu'un qui cherche un travail. Okay, and in order to find a job, in order to get a job, there are a lot of letters in which you are supposed to know and to have information about. So in this unit, we are going to see what job seekers should do to get a job, to get to work, and what are the types of letters that I need in order to apply for a job. Okay, so Unit 1 is about communication. To get through is to correspond, to contact with people using means of communication. Hope the title is clear. Hope the content is clear too. Let's move to another thing that is going to be discussed. So the picture that you can see here is about means of communication. And if we talk about means of communication, of course we will be talking about old means and new means. People in the past had technological inventions. They used different types of means of communication to contact with each other. Today, thanks to technology, communication has become faster, has become more developed and easier. So if we, for example, have a look at this one. What is this one? I can call it mail or letter, okay? And so mail or letter. If we start discussing the history of letters, of mails, people in the past used what we call snail mail, okay? Snail mail. What is a snail? A snail, c'est l'escargot en français. C'est l'escargot. Snail is essentially an animal. Al-halazun in Arabic we say. So the first type of letter that was used by people in the past is called snail mail. It is called snail mail, which means la lettre traditionnelle. I say traditional letter. Why is it called snail? It was called snail because it's so slow. As you know, my dear students, traditional letters took a lot of time to reach the other person. So this is why they are called snail mails, because they spend a lot of time before they reach the person that is going to read them. Okay? First type of mail is snail mail, is a traditional letter. It is so slow. It takes a lot of time. As time went on, as the technology developed, we have got today what we call e-mail. So email is essentially electronic mail. Electronic mail is a type of letter, a type of mail that can be sent to people through different parts in the world thanks to internet. Okay, so let's discuss the advantages and disadvantages of both types. I have got two types, traditional and new, the slow and the fast, the snail mail and the electronic mail. What can we say about the snail mail? So the snail mail is slow, okay, but it is, so this is a negative point, but it is more interesting. What do I mean by more interesting? If a person writes a letter to you, a letter that is going to take a lot of time to reach you, this means that he has spent quite a lot of time to read it, to organize it, to send it to the office so you can get it. It means that the person has spent a lot of time and energy to send you his letter. So the letter is more interesting, okay? But it is slow. Positive side interesting, the negative side slow, okay? And of course, when it comes to snail mails, to traditional letters, you have to pay a certain amount of money so it can reach the other person. So this one is not free. You have to pay money for it, okay? Again, snail mail is slow and you have to pay money, but it's more interesting. Let's discuss electronic mail. What can I say about the electronic mail? This one is slow. This one is super fast. The advantage of electronic mail is fast. It is cheaper. You're not going to pay any amount of money to send an email. So it's faster, it's cheaper, it's more convenient, plus confortable, okay? So the person who sends an email is not going to consume a lot of energy or waste time. All he has to do, write and you send it, okay? So these are the positive sides of electronic mail. It's faster, it's cheaper, it's more convenient, and you know, I tell you, it's more personal. What does it mean, more personal? It means a person who is going to send his email has got a private account. Nobody can check the letter except the one that is going to be, who is going to see or to receive it, okay? So this is generally an overview about the types of letters that were used and are used today by people. I've got snail mail and email, the positive sides and the negative sides. Hope you have found this interesting. Let's get to see other letters. Okay, let's move on here. So at the beginning of the video, in the beginning, I have stated that in this unit we are going to see job seekers. A job seeker, again, is the person who looks for a job, a person who tries to apply for a job. Job seeker, the person who looks for a job, needs to know the types of letters to be used for job application. So we are going to see what is a job application. Job application is the act of looking for a job. If you check the picture here on my right side, there is a gentleman, and presumably he is reading a newspaper which contains jobs. How do I call this? Les annonces de travail. I call them job adverbs. Okay, so I call them job adverbs. Whenever you check newspapers, you will see a specific section specialized for this, for finding jobs. A person who is interested in looking for a job is going to check newspapers. Okay, so after you have seen the job, you are going to do this job application. So as you can see, there are a lot of people. They are standing, and next to them there is a person who is sitting. Maybe he is the person in charge of a company or private school or something, and they are going to send something to him. So what are they going to do, those people? They are essentially having letters of application. Okay, what is a letter of application? A letter of application is a type of letter that is written by someone who looks for a job. Okay, a person who's interested in finding a job is going to write a letter of application. In French, I say demande de travail. Okay, in Arabic, I say this طلب عمل. Okay, so the job seeker prepares a letter of application, so he is going to get employed. This is the first type that should be known, a letter of application. In the letter of application, I mention information about me, I mention personal information, I mention competencies, the competence, and qualifications. For example, to make it clear, I can say my name is Mike, I am 25 years old, I speak 4 languages, I have worked and taught in a private school before. All these information should be mentioned in the letter of application. Okay, so this is the first type of letter that you need to know, letter of application. Okay, here you see the definition. Letter of application contains personal information and details about the job seeker. The job seeker, the one who looks for a job. Okay, in addition to qualifications, the qualification, and previous working experiences. If a person has worked before, he is going to mention this in his letter. Okay, so the person who applied for a job is going to send the letter and wait. If he is accepted, he is going to receive a letter of acceptance from the company, from the private school, from the office in which he is supposed to work. Okay, if he is accepted, if he is good, he is going to receive a letter of acceptance. So what is that? It's a positive reply for an invitation or a job letter. If you are accepted in a job, these people are professional, they are academic, they are going to write a letter of acceptance to you, saying you are welcome, you are going to work with us. Okay? If you are not accepted, they will be writing a letter of refusal, which means you are not well suited to the job. A letter of refusal is a negative reply to an invitation or a job offer. Okay, so we have seen 3 types of letters: job application, the letter of application, which is a type of letter sent by someone who looks for a job. If that person has applied for a job, he can either be accepted or refused. If he is accepted, he is going to receive letter of acceptance. If he is refused, he is going to receive letter of refusal. So as you can see, my dear students, in this unit, it's all about communication, about types of letters and means of communication that help us communicating and corresponding with each other. Hope you have learned a lot of vocabulary, words, and expressions that serve the content of the unit. Okay, so here we have seen the types of letters. Since we have done with the introduction of the unit, with words, with expressions, now we are going to see language points. We are going to see language points that were seen in Unit 1. So if we start with the first one, language point, I want you to have a look at this picture. So you can see a woman, and presumably she is running. Okay, so she is running and she wants to reach this point. So she is moving from here to here. Why is she running? She has an objective. She has got a goal. Okay, so she has an objective. She has got a goal. she wants to reach that point. Okay, so today we are going to see how to express goal or objective or purpose in English. Okay, so the first language point is going to be about this objective or goal or purpose and how to express it. Okay, to express purpose we use three expressions: in order to, so as to, and to. So these are the three expressions that I need to talk about an objective, a goal, a purpose that I want to reach, or a dream that I want to achieve. For example, you, my dear students and pupils, why do you go to school? You go to school to study. I go to school in order to study. I go to school in order to be excellent in education. I go to school in order to get good marks. So these are your objectives, your dreams, your goals and purposes. Let's write the example here. I go to school to study. So I go to school to study. This is the expression that I have used to talk about purpose. What do you notice about the verb coming after it? This verb is called stem, which is infinitive without to. So whenever I talk about purpose, I can use in order to, so as to, or to, plus stem. So the verb coming after them is going to be stem. What is stem? If I write example, to eat, okay? If I cross this to, it becomes it. This is called stem. For example, what is this? This is a pen. I use the pen to write, okay? So I use the pen to write. I use the pen to write. What is the expression that I have used? It's to. The verb coming after it is again stem. Okay, so this is purpose, it's the goal, it's the objective that you want to reach. Let's see other examples, so the point is going to be clear. Donc شفنا هنا. The first example I used to. I go to school to study. To last step. Let's see another example. I write I revise my lessons. I revise my lessons. The expression, let's pick one. In order to get a good mark. Again, have a look at the sentence. I revise my lessons in order to get a good mark. The expression is in order to. The verb coming after it is stem, which is infinitive without to. So this is example number one. Let's see another example. Let's see another example in which I can use another expression. I wake up early so as to be on time. So I wake up early so as to be on time. The expression is so as to, followed by stem, which is infinitive without to. The question is, why do you wake up early? I wake up early so as to be on time. Donc stem in order to, so as to, and to. Hope you have found the examples clear and interesting. We have seen the affirmative form. What is the negative form of both or all these expressions? It's in order to, so as to, and to. The negative form of them is in order not to, so as not to, so as not to, and not to. So these are the negative forms of the expressions that we have seen today. Let's see the examples. I study hard in order to succeed. This is the expression. The verb is stem, always. The second example, they use Facebook so as to chat with their friends. So as to, the verb is stem. We read newspapers to find job adverts. Why do you read newspapers? To find job adverts. I have used in order to, so as to, and to, and all of those expressions are followed by stem. Okay, let's see some examples concerning the negative form. Let's see examples for the negative form. So I will be saying, I study hard in order not to fail. Okay, I study hard in order not to fail. This is a negative sentence. In order not to and plus stem. So I study hard in order not to fail. The example that you have seen at first, I study hard in order to succeed. This is affirmative. This is negative. Let's see another example using so as to. Okay, using so as to. They wake up early so as not to be late. Okay, another example in which I have used the negative form of purpose. I wake up early so as not to be late. The verb is be, which is stem. So this is basically the first language point, and it is called purpose. It is expressed via in order to, and so as to. The negative form of those expressions are in order not to, so as not to, and not to. Hope you have found the first language point easy, and pretty simple. So it's all about this. All I have to remember, 3 expressions plus stem. Okay, let's get to the second language point, which was seen in unit. So the second language point in our unit is going to be about this. Obligation. Then I have got prohibition. Let's discuss those 2 terms first. I have got obligation and prohibition. What is meant by obligation? Obligation is essentially about the things that are imposed on you, things that you should do and things that you are supposed to practice. Okay, in French I call it obligation, اللي هي الإلزام, which means that most of the time you do not have the choice. For example, I can say respecting the law. Respecting the law, إنسان يحترم القانون, it's an obligation. It's something that every single citizen in society should do. Okay, prohibition is going to be about things that you should not do. So obligation, things that you should do. Prohibition, things that you should not do. Okay, prohibition means something that is forbidden. حاجة ممنوعة. Something that is forbidden. Obligation means something that is mandatory. Say إلزامية. Okay, something that I have to do. So we are going to discuss obligation and prohibition. Again, obligation, things that you are supposed to do. Prohibition, things that you are not supposed to do. So let's see the definition and the examples so you can understand. Okay, let's start with the examples. Pupils must respect their school regulation. You, my dear students, you are studying, you go every single day to school. There is something called regulations, which means the law, which means al-qawanin. Do you have the choice in respecting regulations? No. Every single citizen and every single pupil should respect the regulations and the law. Okay? So pupils must respect their school regulations. على التلاميذ احترام قوانين المؤسسة. What is the expression that I have used here? So as you can see, I have used must. Okay? I use must to express obligation. Let's see the second example. Pupils have to wear the pinafore. The pinafore is the uniform, المئزر. على التلاميذ ارتداء المئزر. Do you have the choice here? No, it's something that is imposed on you by the regulations. So in order to express obligation, I will be using must and have to. What do you notice about the verbs coming after them in both examples? Again, pupils must respect. This is called stem. Stem means infinitive without to. Donc le verbe يجي toujours ورا must ورا have to راح يكون stem. فعل غير مصرف without to. Pupils must respect their school regulations. Pupils have to wear their pinafore. So this is obligation. It's about the things that I should do. Things in which I don't have the choice, things that are imposed on me. Let's write another example for you guys here so you can get the idea better. So I can say pupils have to write their lessons. So pupils have to write their lessons. They are required to do that. They don't have the choice. The expression that I have used is have to. The verb coming after have to is stem, which is infinitive without to. Another example, which is again about school regulations, I can say pupils must do their homework. Again, it's an obligation, something imposed on you. So obligation is expressed via must or have to plus stem. Let's move to prohibition. Again, what is prohibition? Something that is forbidden. حاجة ممنوعة. Something that you should not do. Okay? So obligation is about things you're supposed to do. This one is about things that you should not do. Let's see examples. You must not cheat in exams, because if you cheat in exams, you will get punished. It's something that you must not do, something that you're not supposed to do. This is the first example. We must not cheat in exams. Second one, pupils must not arrive late. You as students, you should always be on time. You don't have the choice when it comes to the time. You should always be on time. In other words, you must not arrive late. What do you notice about the expression that I have used here? It must not plus stem. Okay? So to express prohibition, I use must not plus stem. In obligation, I only use must and have to plus stem. Again, obligation, something mandatory, إلزامية, you're supposed to do it. Forbidden and should not do it is for prohibition. Okay? So these are examples that can help you remember this language point. Let's move to another language point in which you have the choice. So in both obligation and prohibitions, you don't have the choice. You're not free because something is imposed on you. Let's check this in which a person has got the choice. He is free. He can do whatever suits him. So here we will be talking about an expression that essentially talks about choice. It is called lack or absence of obligation. So lack or absence of obligation, معناها there is lack means there is no obligation. Lack of obligation means this. Lack of obligation, there is no obligation. Here, the person has got the choice. Let's see the examples. We don't have to wake up early in the weekends. In the weekends, you are free. You don't need to wake up early. Can you wake up early? Yes. But if you have chosen not to, then you are free. So this is the first example. The second one, they don't have to practice sports every day. Practicing sports is good, it's fine, but it's not a necessity. It's not an obligation. So people have the choice when it comes to practicing sports. The last one, he does not have to read books all the time. A person, maybe that person is not interested in reading books. He is free, he has the choice. Donc, what is the expression that I'm using? I use don't have to, don't need to, plus stem. So the verb coming after those two expressions is always stem, which means infinitive without to. This is called lack or absence of obligation. The person has got the choice. Two expressions should be kept in mind. Don't have to, don't need to, plus stem. Okay? For example, I can write pupils don't have to participate in all sessions. Okay? Of course, participation is good and it's great, but it's not an obligation. So pupils have the choice here. Pupils don't have to participate STEM in all sessions. So this one is about choice. It's about lack or absence of obligation. The people are free. Okay? Again, we have seen obligation, in which the person does not have the choice, something imposed on you. Must and have to plus stem. We have seen prohibition, which is about things that are forbidden, things that are not acceptable. It's expressed via must not plus noun. The third point is about lack or absence of obligation. The person has got the choice. He can do whatever suits him. Okay, so this is the second language point. Let's get to the third point, which is equally important. In this unit, you have seen pronouns, and of course, you know what are personal pronouns. I can say I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. Today we are going to see another type of pronouns, which is going to be this. So let's move here and get back. This is the type of pronouns that we are going to see today. They are called reflexive pronouns. So if you have a look at this picture, there is a gentleman or a boy who is looking at himself in the mirror. So what he is seeing here, this gentleman is seeing himself. So he is seeing his reflection, okay? Reflection in the mirror, okay? Today we are going to see this kind of pronouns which reflect the same person, okay? So reflexive pronouns are used when the subject and the object of the sentence are the same. What is a reflexive pronoun? I use it when the doer of the action, the receiver of the action, and the sentence are the same. For example, if you have a look again at the picture, you will see this boy, he is looking at himself, okay? So he is looking at himself. So the subject is he, the object is himself. This is the reflexive pronoun I have used because the doer of the action and the receiver of the action are one single person. They are the same, okay? So reflexive pronouns, again, are used when the subject and the object of the sentence are the same. Let's see what are they. In I say myself. In you, I see yourself. We, ourselves, as you can see, VES for the plural. Pay attention to this. They, themselves, again, VES. He, himself. She, herself. It, itself. Okay? These are reflexive pronouns. The subject and the object are the same. If you read the examples, you will see, again, the reflection. So Thomas is looking at himself. Suppose that this guy is named Thomas. He is looking at himself. He can see himself. There is a reflection. So this is the subject, this is the object, and they reflect each other. Okay? The second one, I am painting myself. The reflexive pronoun is myself. You are cleaning yourself. Again, the reflexive pronoun is yourself. So this is basically the new type of pronoun that you have encountered in Unit 1. It's called reflexive pronouns. The subject, the object are just a single person. The doer of the action, the receiver of the action are the same. So here I have left for you all the reflexive pronouns so you can check them later on. You can remember them. Okay? So they are always located at the end of the sentence because they function as an object. Okay? Because they function as an object. Let's get back to other language points that are equally important. So now we are going to see adverbs. We are going to see a specific group of adverbs that is called frequency adverbs, and it's about this. If you have a look at the picture, adverbs of frequency. There is an example here. I always go shopping after work. So this lady has got a habit, okay? Has got a habit, and une habitude. When she finishes work, she goes for shopping, and she buys a lot of things, okay? How often does she do that? Always. So every single day, whenever she finishes work, she goes to do the shopping. So how habits, the frequency adverb is always. And the question for this one is how often, okay? So how often does she do this habit or this action? Always. Frequency adverbs are here. If a person does something every single day, it is going to be always, 100%. Less than that, it's usually, which is 90%. I have got frequently, I have got often. If a person does something like 50%, not all the time, it is going to be sometimes. Then I have got occasionally, seldom, rarely, rarement, nadiran, and never, which means not at all. So these are a specific category of adverbs that indicate how often a habit or an action is repeated in a time period. Okay, I have got, say, for example, 1 week I read books all the time. I will be saying I always read books. If I don't read books at all, I will be saying I never read books. Okay, if like 50%, I will be saying I sometimes read books. So these are frequency adverbs. They indicate how often a habit or an action is repeated over time. Okay, again, frequency adverbs indicate how often an action is repeated in a time period. Okay, let's see some examples. I always go to school on foot. Toujours roh d'école à pied. She often revises her lessons. Where is often? Like 70%. They never read books. They never read books. They don't do that action or habit at all. So if you have a look here, you will see the frequency adverbs written in deep black, in bold type. I always go to school. She often revises her lessons. They never read books. These are habits. Okay, هذو des habitudes or actions. And the question is always how often. Okay, so let's see the rule now. If you have a normal verb, it is going to be this. I mentioned the frequency adverb, then I mentioned the verb after that. I always go to school. I've got frequency adverb followed by verb. She often revises her lessons. Frequency adverb followed by a verb. I have got read. I have got the frequency adverb never. Okay, so if I have got a normal verb, I will be placing the frequency adverb first, then the verb comes next. Okay, so I can give an example here. She rarely goes out. As you can see, this is the frequency adverb and this is the verb, so the frequency adverbs comes first. Now, if I have an auxiliary verb, which is to be or to have, I will be using different rule, okay? So auxiliary verb, to be or to have, plus the frequency adverb. So it is going to be the opposite with auxiliary. يكون عندي l'auxiliary to be or to have, I will be putting to be or to have first, then I have got the frequency adverb. I am always happy. Have a look here. I am to be, then I have got the frequency adverb. Which comes first? To be, of course. I am always happy. He is usually tired. I have got is, and I have got the frequency adverb. We are often ready to solve the task. I have got to be, then I have got the frequency adverb. So these are frequency adverbs, a specific category of adverbs that talk about habits and actions. In a time period, I simply answer the question, how often? How often do you go to school? On foot. I will be saying, I always go to school on foot. How often do you practice sports? I sometimes practice sports. How often do you play tennis? I never play tennis. Okay, so these are just examples meant for helping you. Concerning the rule, la règle, قلنا, if I have got a normal verb, I put frequency adverb first, then the verb. If I have got to be, then to be is going to be mentioned first, then I have got the frequency adverb later on. Hope you have found this one clear and interesting. So frequency adverb, category of verbs that were seen in unit 1. Let's check another language point, and it is going to be this one. So we are going to examine conjunctions. Conjunctions, what do I mean by this one? So this picture expresses and explains everything. I have got sentence 1, sentence 2. Two pairs of sentences, and I want to join or link them. I've got sentence 1, sentence 2. Instead of writing two sentences, I will be making them just one sentence. What shall I do? I will be using conjunctions. راح نستعمل les conjonctions اللي هما essentially link words. So conjunctions are link words or expressions that I use to link and join between sentences. Two sentences are going to be one. Okay, so let's see what I have for you here, ladies and gentlemen. The first conjunction is both and. Both and. Both and is used to describe two subjects who share something in common, or one subject that has two qualities. Okay, so the first expression is going to be both and. When do I use it? If two people, two persons, two subjects have the same quality. let's write here. Let's see the example here. David is a good student. Mike is a good student. What is common between Mike and David? وش هي الحاجة المشتركة بين David and Mike? So David is good, Mike is good. Instead of writing two sentences, I will be linking them and make them one single sentence using the conjunction that I have, which is both and. Okay, so instead of writing two sentences, I simply write one. David is a good student. Mike is a good student. Both Mike and David are good students. What do you notice here? So first of all, I have used both plus subject 1, which is Mike, plus and, plus subject 2. I have made some changes concerning the verb. This one is singular, it has become plural. So plus the verb plus the rest of the sentence. Okay, so I have got two sentences, two people, two subjects. They have one single quality that they share together. I will be writing both subject number 1 and subject number 2 plus verb plus the rest of the sentence. Hope you have found this clear. Let's see another example. شوفوا another example. I'll be writing one example by myself here. Okay. So I'll be saying Mary is old. James is old. So Mary is old, James is old. I have got two subjects. They share one quality. Old and old. وش راح ندير؟ I will be writing both subject number 1, which is Mary. So both Mary, I'll be adding and James. I've got is, it should be are, because I need to make the plural form. Both Mary and James are old. This is the expression, this is the conjunction. I had two sentences, now I have got a single sentence, so hope it's clear. Both Mary and James are old. Both Mike and David are good students. Both subject number 1 and subject number 2. Make changes in the verb and I have my sentence. Okay, so this is the example that was written here. Let's see another example in which one single subject has two qualities. David is kind. David is generous. I have got one person, but he has got two qualities. David, he is kind, he is generous. I will be writing, in that case, subject plus verb plus both plus adjective plus and plus the second adjective. So David is both kind and generous. David is the subject, is the verb, both, here it is, kind is adjective number 1, and is the conjunction, generous is adjective number 2. Okay, so whenever I have a person who has got two qualities, I will be using this form: subject plus verb plus both plus adjective plus and plus the second adjective. So this is both and. I use both and whenever the sentence is affirmative, whenever two people share the same feature, or one single subject has got two qualities. Now let's see other conjunctions. So here I have got another one, which is neither nor. The first one was both and, this one is neither nor. Neither nor is used to describe two subjects who share something in common, or one subject that has two qualities. So it's basically the same as both and. But what is the difference? But the sentences are negative. I want you to focus on this one. Neither nor is basically the same as both and. What's the difference? Both and the sentences are affirmative, and neither nor the sentences are negative. Let's see the example. Matt is not late. Lucy is not late. I will be saying neither Matt nor Lucy are late. So what did I do here? I've got neither subject number 1, nor the second conjunction, subject number 2, and I finish. Okay, so Matt is not late, negative sentence. Lucy is not late. I say neither Matt nor Lucy are late. So what do you notice, ladies and gentlemen, here? The sentences had been negative, but once I have introduced the expression or the conjunction neither nor to them, they have become affirmative again. Donc les deux phrases اللي كانوا negative نقلبوهم affirmative. They have become affirmative. Matt is not late. Lucy is not late. Neither Matt nor Lucy are late. Let's see another example. So it is going to be more clear and more easy to understand. Let's write the example here. I will be saying Thomas is not young. David is not young. So we have got two sentences here. We've got two subjects. They share something in common. Not young, not young. Donc les deux phrases sont négatives. Both sentences are negative. What shall I do? I will be saying neither. Can you help me, please? So neither. Can you help me here? Neither. What shall I pick? Subject number 1, Thomas. So neither Thomas nor subject number 2, David, are late. As you can see, the negative sentences have become affirmative again. And I'd like to leave this as a remark for you. خليتها in remark so you can understand. The sentence become affirmative once the conjunction is introduced to it. It means I have got two negative sentences, but once I use neither nor, they become one single sentence and the sentence is itself affirmative. Hope it's clear. So this is the second conjunction. Let's check the last conjunction. The last conjunction is going to be about this. Before we examine, clearly you have got food, I've got this and this. So there is a person who is having what we call choices. Okay, so would you like to eat this or this one? What do you prefer? This or this? You can take this or this one. Okay, so this expression that is going to be seen is about choices, and the expression is either or. Either or is used whenever we have choices. The example that is given here, you can drink tea, you can drink coffee. Suppose that you have a guest at home and you have invited him or your friends, you'll be saying you can drink tea, you can drink coffee. It's exactly like this. It's about choices. So the introduction, the conjunction is going to be either or. What shall I say? You can either drink tea or coffee. So you can either, and I mentioned choice number 1, drink tea or coffee. This is the expression. The sentences are affirmative. I use them whenever I discuss choices. Let's write another example, another situation for you so you can understand better. Okay, I will be saying you can buy a PC. You can buy a smartphone. You can buy a PC, you can buy a smartphone. What shall I say? I will be using this. You can either buy a PC or a smartphone. Okay, so you can either buy a PC or smartphone. So this one is about choice, and we have spoken about conjunctions. So I have got both and used for affirmative sentences, two subjects that they share the same quality. Neither nor is used whenever we have got negative sentences, and it talks basically the same about two subjects who share the same qualities. if I have got the choice, then I will be using either or. Okay, so if I have got the choice, I will be using either or. So by the end, I should say that this was basically a video dedicated to first year students, and in this video we have seen a general revision concerning Unit 1, we have explained the title, we have seen important types of letters, means of communication, and how they affect communication actually, and correspondence between people. In addition to that, we have seen and covered all the language points that were seen throughout Unit 1. I wish you good luck in your exams. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I will be so glad and happy to give answers to them. Thank you so much. Thanks for your attention and have a nice day, all of you. Assalamu alaikum.